2 decades ago, Red Bull was nothing more than the name of an energy drinks company. But after acquiring the ailing Jaguar team in 2025, the Austrian company established itself as one of the greatest teams in the history of Formula One. Join us to see how it all began. If you enjoy our content, don't forget to click on the like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on future updates. Enjoy the video. Nowadays, Red Bull is almost synonymous with its F1 team. That, however, wasn't always the case. The Milton Keynes-based squad took some time to become a powerhouse, starting off as a relatively small operation that many fans only saw as an expensive marketing ploy. Here is why and how Red Bull built its Formula One empire. Red Bull's beginnings. Long before establishing its F1 team, Red Bull was an energy drinks company. Founded in 1984, the brand was established by Austrian Dietrich Mateschitz and Thai businessman Chelio Uvidya. Mateschitz, then a sales rep for Unilever, traveled to Thailand in 1982. There, he found out about Krating Dang, a caffeine-based drink developed by Uvidya. 2 years later, the Austrian decided to turn the product into a $1 million company, partnering with Uvidya to create Red Bull. After spending a few years studying the European market, Red Bull was launched in 1987. In a decade, the company expanded dramatically, taking over 75% of the market for energy drinks. From the start, Mateschitz came up with an aggressive marketing strategy, which involved handing free samples to students, creating TV ads, and sponsoring a multitude of events. And since its inception, Red Bull had sports as a key component of its marketing strategy. As a brand aimed at young people, Mateschitz saw motorsports and extreme sports as the best options, and the Austrian had his sights set on F1. Red Bull in Formula One, from title sponsor to owning the team. In 1995, Red Bull made its first foray into Formula One as a title sponsor. The Austrian brand signed a deal with third-year team Sauber, which moved from sports cars into F1 in 1992. As part of the deal, Sauber was rebranded into Red Bull Sauber. The company's iconic logo, with the two clashing bulls over a yellow circle, was featured prominently on Sauber's engine cover. The cars also carried a Red Bull logo on the sidepods and also on the front of the cockpit. Sauber carried Red Bull as its title sponsor until 2001. The energy company stayed with Sauber until 2004, with the logo still featured on the engine covers of all Sauber cars. Parallel to its Sauber sponsorship, Red Bull also started supporting young talents in the junior rankings. In 1999, the brand signed 3 F3000 drivers to its junior program. Brazilians Ricardo Mauricio and Enrique Bernoldi, and Austrian Markus Friesacker. The Red Bull Junior fold continued to grow. In 2001, the team signed Austrians Patrick Friesacker and Christian Klein, along with German karting star Sebastian Vettel. Over the next few years, the team also signed Italian Vittorio Liuzzi and American Scott Speed, who would all make it to F1 under the Austrian brand. After studying a way to join Formula One as a manufacturer, Red Bull did the unthinkable. On November 15, 2004, the energy drinks company completed a $1 management buyout of the outgoing Jaguar Racing. The team named the 31-year-old Christian Horner as its team principal, the youngest in F1 history. As part of the deal, Red Bull secured Cosworth as its engine provider and took over Jaguar's Milton Keynes' facilities. In return, the Austrian company agreed to invest $300,000 on the new F1 team. A tough start and a breakout year in 2009. As most people had predicted, Red Bull struggled on its debut year. For the driver lineup, the company promoted Klein and Liuzzi to what it described as a shared seat and signed David Coulthard off of McLaren as the team leader. While Coulthard stayed with the team until his retirement, in 2008, the team had a revolving door at the second car. Klein, Liuzzi, and Robert Dornbos. Red Bull finally found stability when it signed Mark Webber for 2007. Following Coulthard's retirement, Red Bull promoted Vettel from Toro Rosso for 2009. At the age of 21, the German already held the record as F1's youngest ever race winner, a feat he had achieved with the sister team Toro Rosso at Monza the previous year. F1 saw a radical change in regulations for 2009, with the FIA considerably trimming the car's downforce in a bid to improve racing. It was exactly what Red Bull needed. Having signed legendary designer Adrian Newey in 2006, the team finally found an opening to gain an advantage. And sure enough, the Brit delivered a race winner, the RB5. Having entered the year with only 3 podium finishes in 72 starts, Red Bull suddenly found itself fighting at the top end of the grid. Vettel scored the team's maiden pole and win in China, leading Weber home in a 1-2 finish. The German mounted a comeback during the second half of the season, but lost the title to Braun's Jensen Button. Both Vettel and Red Bull wrapped up the season as the runners-up, with the team racking up 6 wins, 4 with Vettel and 2 with Weber. Entering 2010, Red Bull and Vettel were widely regarded as one of the title favorites, winning the first title and building a dynasty. Red Bull had a year full of ups and downs in 2010. The team showed plenty of speed, underlined by its 15 poles in 19 races, and with 9 wins, Red Bull wrapped up its first constructors title with 1 race to go. But driver errors and reliability issues made Weber and Vettel enter the Abu Dhabi final trailing Ferrari's Fernando Alonso. Sitting 8 points back, Weber had the best shot at the championship. Vettel, on the other hand, was 15 points down on Alonso and only had an outside shot at best. With Alonso choosing to match Weber's strategy, the title fight took an unexpected twist. Stuck behind Vitaly Petrov for the entirety of the race, the Spaniard crossed the line down in 7th. Vettel won from pole to secure his maiden title, becoming F1's youngest ever champion in the process. The German went on to build a dynasty, winning a further 3 titles between 2011 and 2013. Vettel set a new F1 record with 15 pole positions in 2011. In 2012, the German narrowly edged Alonso to the title in dramatic fashion, repeating his 2010 campaign. And in 2013, Vettel set new records for the most wins in a season with 13, and for the most consecutive wins with 9. For 2014, F1 dropped its loud V8 engines for a controversial V6 hybrid package, with Red Bull's engine provider, Renault, failing to deliver a competitive power unit. The team found itself trailing Mercedes. Vettel failed to win a race for the first time with the team. On the other hand, the newly promoted Daniel Ricciardo scored an impressive 3 wins. Vettel left Red Bull for Ferrari at the end of the year, with Red Bull promoting Daniel Kvyat to the vacant seat. Parallel to its F1 commitments, the team signed a young Dutchman called Max Verstappen to its junior fold and promoted him to Kvyat's Toro Rosso seat for 2015. A new dynasty and looking into the future. Red Bull failed to win a single race in 2015, with both Kvyat and Ricciardo struggling. While the Russian finished ahead of his Australian teammate in the standings, he also suffered a few high-profile crashes and incidents, the most notable ones involving none other than Vettel. Only 4 races into the 2016 season, Red Bulls swapped Kvyat with Verstappen, promoting the 18-year-old Dutchman to the main team. Despite coming under severe criticism for the move, it didn't take too long for it to pay off, and on his first start with the team, Verstappen won the Spanish Grand Prix, breaking Vettel's record to become F1's youngest ever winner. The Dutchman continued to deliver impressive results, combined with a few mistakes. Verstappen and Ricciardo won a combined 9 races in 3 seasons, with the Australian deciding to leave for Renault at the end of 2018. Red Bull promoted Pierre Gasly and then Alexander Albon to the second seat, while Verstappen took over as the team leader. The Dutchman won 3 races in 2019 and another 2 in 2020, emerging as the only driver capable of challenging the dominant Mercedes. Following some tweaks to the aero rules for 2021, Red Bull found a crack in Mercedes' armor, and following a long, and at times ugly title fight with Lewis Hamilton, Verstappen entered the final round in Abu Dhabi tied on points with the 7-time champion. After losing the lead at the start, the Dutchman took advantage of a safety car to pass Hamilton on the final lap, securing his maiden F1 title. It was the start of another Red Bull dynasty. With the introduction of the new ground effect rules for 2022, Verstappen dominated F1. He set a new F1 record by winning 15 races that year and obliterated the competition with 19 wins in 22 starts the following year. In 2023, he also broke Vettel's record for the most consecutive wins with 10. After a dominant start to 2024, Red Bull saw McLaren and Ferrari catch up and eventually passed the team on pace. Despite this, Verstappen managed to win a fourth consecutive title. But along the way, the team was rocked by an internal struggle for power, with Horner caught in an email scandal. While the team principal managed to retain his role, a further dip in performance in 2025 ultimately led to Horner's firing halfway through the season, ending his 20-year stint as the only team principal in Red Bull history. For 2026, Red Bull is set to enter a new era. The Austrian team took over Honda's engine project in 2022, founding Red Bull Powertrains to race with its own in-house engines. However, the two sides maintained a close technical partnership, so for all intents and purposes, Red Bull was effectively running a rebranded Honda engine. With the Honda partnership set to end in 2025, Red Bull will start building its own power units from scratch, having Ford join in as a new partner. And so, the energy drink company went from being a sponsor to an F1 team, and is now also set to become an engine manufacturer. Not bad. This is everything you need to know about Red Bull's F1 team. Share your memories about the iconic team down in the comments. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.